As I'm pretty sure we are getting ready to hop into our draft now as the bans are beginning. So we'll hit the transition over there. Yeah, I think the main thing is keeping this guy off the Nunu, to be honest. It's a big one. They experimented with leaving it open. They had a free game, free hit, and we see it first on the ban list.
First on the ban list, indeed. As I don't know, it's got to be interesting. We do see the Nunu taken away. You see the Fiora back in response for TUD Daredevils. I don't know what they're gonna go with other than that, but I guess they target maybe some of these bot lane champions if they know Ben Tennyson's gonna be playing instead of Noodle, which I'm not too sure what they think of doing here, to be honest.
Yeah, shout out Jojo GA, both in the chat and in this game. Got his player of the week performance a couple of weeks back on that Azir, and TD Daredevil showing all the respect they can, getting rid of that the Emperor there in the mid lane. Azilian in response. These are pretty unconventional bans, if you would say that. I think.
It's something you'd probably pick in solo queue rather than in your collegiate series. I will say that, but at the moment we do see a lot of top lane mid lane champions. Okay, there is the Nunu bans, but it is just heavily mid lane side. You see the Azir, even Zillion can be flexed mid, Syndra taken away as well. What is up available though for these teams though is the Orianna, and I'm not too sure if we've seen Matrix play much of it. I think we've seen a game of him on it, but Orianna, super strong pick. Don't think she's been nerfed in the most recent patch neither. And it could be an easy first pick as well, as we do see the Jarvan 4 come out here for TD Daredevils.
Yeah, I think this is big trouble if Matrix plays the Orianna. That like you're kind of backing Jojo G into a corner here where you kind of want him to play the Orianna, otherwise they can pair it with the Jarvan, and yeah, that could be a disastrous wombo combo for any team to play against, and it kind of negates a lot of goal differential when you get like such a big ultimate combo off like that. But yeah, we do see the Nocturne and the Seraphine in response.
Nocturne and Seraphine are a pretty good combo themselves. I don't know if QUB were maybe thinking that they could give him the Orianna enough for a counter pick, or sorry, TUD Daredevils maybe in this case, where since the Orianna wasn't banned, it's a first to pick Orianna loses, because if they know Orianna could be coming out, both teams could have cooked up some counter picks as well. And I mean, Jarvan's pretty good with and against Orianna. It's going to be interesting. I think there's definitely some cooking going on here, but I don't know if we should let him cook as the Orianna. Going to get taken by the Daredevils. Nice champion, good combo as well. You land that Jarvan ulti, you throw a shockwave in there, and you just root them for days. But what they pair with that, I mean, I'm already liking TD Daredevil's side, and I haven't even seen this bot lane. Not really too sure what we could see, but there's a couple of options that I would like. Maybe the Jinx would be nice. Could also maybe look for something a bit more passive like the Ezreal, but I don't know. There's some good pairings here. Looking for the Xayah.
I like the Xayah. I think you have a lot of they're kind of going forward here, but the Orianna, once the shockwave does get off, can also offer like a lot of self peel and stuff with the shield and the W speed up as well. So I think Xayah kind of pairs really well into what they want to do. She has her own way of dealing with the Nocturne that she's going to have to deal with for the rest of the game when you do see that Jarvan the Orianna going forward. So I do think that it's pretty good. Whereas you could pick the likes of Jinx, and you have no real way of protecting yourself from the Nocturne unless we see a particular support pick. But the Ezreal in response to the Xayah, probably Seraphine Ezreal in the bot lane, but we can't really be sure at this point.
I like lately the teams have been going for these flex. What's kind of nice about that is like if your team's going for these flex picks right now at the moment, it also means basically that it also leaves them guessing for the end, and especially with red side, you can kind of hold your flex picks out to a little bit longer. Seraphine Ezreal is a good bot lane, but there are other options as well if they want to put it in the mid lane. Maybe something like other champions that could be picked as well, as we do see the Jax getting banned away against TD Daredevils there for White Raven. White Raven, we haven't spoken much about, but he's been a very standout player for Daredevils. I know all the players have had their kind of standout performances, but I've really liked how White Raven's played these games so far, and I definitely think he's one to watch, especially for split push, likes bruiser styles, but can play the tank if put on as well. So it's definitely something for QUB Quokkas need to keep in mind here, as we do see the Darius Hover here maybe getting taken away there. Would be pretty nasty with the team comp, but I mean, in a small and close space, Darius can kind of just cook. So I kind of see why that gets taken away. But last bans here still come out from QUB Quokkas. I don't know what they'd go for here.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if I'm White Raven, I always scream for any excuse to ban the Darius, as we do see the Rel there. Another big source of engage. You could move that Seraphine to the mid lane and then have an Nocturne and a Rel combo. Just kind of try and negate the all in combo of the TUD Daredevils and completely break the fight up entirely. Kind of fighting fire with fire in that sense. But yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. no Rel now, and yeah, as we said, the Darius and the Jax both gone. So those are two very big top lane ego picks, I would say, and the Malphite as well there for a bit more tank also gone, because it would have been a huge wombo combo to have a Jarvan, a Malphite, and an Orianna for that ball delivery service. But yeah, these top laners now have kind of checked each other a little bit with these bans, throwing a couple at each other, and this should be it should lead hopefully to an exciting top lane. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers that we don't see an Ornn again, but you never really know in these drafts.
Well, there you
Ah,
go. You literally called it. Think of Jinx himself. He just gets
yeah,
locked in there strong. I don't know how it fits too well into the QUB Quokkas side, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of engage coming out there from QUB Quokkas, and to be honest with you, I actually think it would be better suited to the Daredevils, but I honestly think what QUB did there was, they said, okay, I think TUD Daredevils might take the Ornn to fit into that comp, so they just probably take it for themselves, but that does leave Daredevils with the counter pick, and they are going to take the Gwen in the top lane for White Raven, and the Leona gonna get locked in as well there. Super heavy engage with like a really nice 4-1 for TUD Daredevil. Stick Gwen on the top lane and you just force objectives every minute, because this is an absolutely tanky comp from TUD.
yeah, I think TUD might be going in, and I don't think they know how to go out. But yeah, saying about the Ornn, I do think a big part of it is that you don't want to break up your flex pick straight away, and you need to blind pick top in order to not do that. And the Ornn is pretty much the safest blind that you can do in this meta. So we do see the Taric there, so it will be Seraphine mid. Um, the only thing is, it's quite a poor matchup for Ornn, and he probably will struggle unless he has his own Bible in his Excel spreadsheet to see how to deal with this matchup. It can be very difficult, and yeah, so they decide to not break up the flex pick. They get the Taric, so they have Ezreal Taric going into the Leona, probably trying to keep that Leona locked down as soon as she does go in. So as far as picks go, it's not the worst, but I think TD Daredevils have come off better here in their draft.
Best of 3 series, first game of playoffs, TUD Daredevils, QUB Quokkas, we're in. I'm up for some spice. I want to see some early game cheese. I want to see a level 1 invade. And we might just get one from the way QUB are standing at the moment.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a bot lane standoff here, but it looks as if it's going to be all fine on the Rift. I think we are just looking at a spread, so nothing too out of the ordinary. Shout out to Jojo GA is going to play the mid lane Seraphine in this one. He took a hit for his team there and allowed the flex pick to go through, but he is quite comfortable on the champ as far as I'm aware as well. So yeah, Matrix and Jojo GA is my personal matchup to watch. I think they've both had MVP caliber weeks at separate times, and I think with them playing together against each other this week, I don't think it'll be quite as one-sided as it was last week, to be honest. I have faith in Jojo GA, but for now we can only speculate. Orianna against Seraphine, that's a matchup that could either impact the map greatly, or they could be farming mid lane for 20 minutes. We'll just have to wait and see how they play it.
Well, one of the different variables already between these two teams is the fact, versus last week, Ben Tennyson's playing AD carry instead of Noodle. So Noodle played pretty well as well in the game they did play last week. So it will be interesting to see how Ben Tennyson, who hasn't played with the team in the last wee bit anyway, fits into this. And I think that's definitely one to watch out for in the bot lane, as Crimson Chaos against Ben Tennyson is probably another one I'd be up for. Especially with the Ezreal Xayah, there is some stuff that Ezreal can do early. A lot of poke that can happen there. Ezreal Taric can have a bit of early game cheese as well, but it'll be interesting to see what plays out.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. As we do see a bit of trading going on in the top lane, that kind of reflects how a lot of this is going to go. Oh, double stun there, but it does reflect how a lot of it is going to go in the top lane. It's super Gwen favored matchup. Well, Minion Hunter just taking one for the team, to be honest. He will be hunting minions under his tower for most of the game, I'd imagine, as we are seeing every lane pushing up here for TUD. So it looks as if their plan's going pretty well so far. I will say that QUB have drafted very much like for the scaling. I think it will be very important. I know I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, but it will be very important to see what Nocturne does with his first ultimate, because it could end up deciding a lot of where QUB put their eggs, which basket that they decide to go for, whether it's Jojo GA or the bot lane, because the first Nocturne ultimate is incredibly important.
Definitely think so with something like an Ezreal Taric. Getting an Ezreal ahead early and kind of having him just poke down the bot lane makes his matchup so much easier, and especially at like the likes of level 6 where he can really come into his own. It's definitely one to watch out for, as we do see a lot of tower shots getting taken there. Matrix took one earlier on, White Raven taking one just there as well. And they're a bit low, but at the moment, all the TUD lanes pushing out. We do see Nocturne, though, passing towards this top side, is going to get spotted in that tri-brush by the ward, and White Raven is now going to check it and try and find them, and maybe something happens here. I'm not too sure, though.
Yeah, big part of this game, I think, is, as you mentioned before, the performance of Ben Tennyson coming in, stepping up here for TD on the Xayah. Obviously, you know, in terms of these collegiate games, I will say that it has been trending in the games where Dano isn't playing and TD Apes aren't playing, that the bot lane is the most important.
Yeah, we see a lot of damage coming out here on the Taric. Taric getting taken super low. No one targeting Crimson Chaos there, who does get the free poke away. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, both mid laners doing a bit of fighting of their own there. Both half HP, but it doesn't look like anything too mad's going to happen. As Mongolian Yeti passing towards this top side, he is in the lane. He does have flash available, but we do see Ornn get away. Nothing happens.
Yeah, that is the Ornn experience, and he is going to get caught here. Depending on how White Raven wants to play it, now that that first wave is bounced, White Raven decided not to take the cheater, and instead just took the slow push straight back, so he could end up looking for a freeze here. And he knows that he has the support of his jungler to do so. He did take a lot of tower shots, so he is pretty low. But as we did see his empowered Q expire there as well. But if he probably should be looking to freeze this if he doesn't get too low.
Taking a serious amount of poke there from Minion Hunter, though, and I do think he's really underestimating the Ornn, especially when he can just go into the shop right now and pick himself up in the Rambo vest when he does nearly have the gold for it as well. So White Raven really should be respecting the Ornn damage early on.
Yeah, it's not really how this is supposed to go, but he does use the W to good effect there. Does get the trade right back. I will say that the ease of execution on the trades for the Gwen, they're a lot easier than. It's a lot easier for Gwen to win this matchup than it is for Ornn to win this matchup. So yeah, White Raven definitely has the easy execution on his side with how much the Gwen does heal in those exchanges, especially with the Conquer and being able to hit someone as beefy as Ornn. As these items do start to come up for the Gwen, it does get a lot easier. I'd say this is probably the hardest part of the game for the Gwen. But nevertheless, he does get the minion wave on his side. As you can see, Minion Hunter 101 doesn't have a wave bouncing to him and is down 12 CS now. So it is sort of going all according to plan for White Raven.
Definitely think it's kind of gone according to plans. We do see as well a Null Magic Mantle getting purchased as well by him. As we do see, though, fight breaking out here. Ulti going to go through with the Seraphine. He is going to land with the Orianna. Flash away, though. Ignite coming through. Down goes the Nocturne, and the remaining members of TUD Daredevils want to fight here as they get one. Xayah might make this two. Taric forced to run away. Does have flash available. Not going to use it, though, as he gets taken out himself. Leona going to eat herself in on the Ezreal, and no one's keeping Crimson Chaos alive. He also has flash available, and he's going to die with that as well. Jojo GA going to go down. That's a double kill for Xayah. That's a 3 kills, triple kill for Xayah there, and Ben Tennyson showing up when they need him to.
Any questions that we could have asked about Ben Tennyson there? He shuts us right up. I'm sure he'll be here to tell us about it afterwards. 3 kills there in his first team fight back here on the TUD Daredevils. Picks it up nice and easy. Poor Leeway there dies for Jojo GA sins there. He hits the one-man ultimate onto the Orianna, and it was all signs were a go, but the Jarvan was there right on time, and from there the fight goes pretty perfectly. Ben Tennyson did employ the ghost in this game as well, so we were able to see the fruits of that labor there as he was getting those ghost resets and just auto-attacking pretty much untouched in that bush as well. Really good positioning, and a fight that was very advantageous for TUD there in that choke point. So I think we can call that 1-0 in terms of team fights there going TUD's way. But if we know anything about these two teams and these games in this tournament in general, they tend to be very explosive, so you can't write either team off after the first team fight.
Definitely think QUB still have an angle here, and maybe they can go back into the game and do something. But at the moment, we do see TUD with 4 kills to 1 at the moment. 4 assists, by the way, on the Orianna and the Jarvan. 100% kill participation from both of those members. 3 kills now currently on Ben Tennyson, with a kill as well on Sprumble. That might help him with his early item as well. Could pick up a locket quicker as well if need be, depending on what he wants to go himself. Could go for what is the item called again? The one that helps his root damage, if I remember. But we do see the Orianna ult getting blown there. We did see the flash out from the Taric. Ezreal looking for a bit of damage back in response, but it's not going to be enough, as a lot of damage coming through from TUD Daredevils. They are playing super aggressive at the moment.
Yeah, forcing the flash there on the level 4 Taric is very good for their prospects of getting this first dragon. I do think it's pretty much a fight killer for QUB. I don't think they will want to walk into that, but you never know. The Nocturne just stings 6, so they could look for a play, but everything converging on the bot side now, I don't think it would be an advantageous time, but nevertheless, it all seems like it's brewing up.
A lot of fight breaking out here. We do see Xayah getting rooted. Xayah gets shut down though. Sprumble trying to do something. In comes Jarvan. In comes Orianna. The remaining members of QUB might get taken out here. No Ori ultis though. Crimson Chaos forced to try and run away. A lot of damage come through from Leona. No Ignite available anymore. But Mongolian Yeti gonna pick himself up a kill. And even when one's dead, TUD still trying to capitalize on this. Leeway trying to get out with dear life. Orianna ulti still on the cooldown. But Mongolian Yeti does have the flash. No Nocturne ulti anymore. And no flash available in either means he's running very quickly here, but the Seraphine ulti comes out and doesn't land on anyone, but it did hit the Orianna though, just enough to take her out, and they do get a kill back in response, and that's going to be a 2 for 2, which, well, 2 for 3 I think, really, in favor of QUB.
Yeah, Jojo GA there decides, instead of walking to that fight, that the Nocturne has it, he's going to equalize the mid lane CS, and he does do that now. We're sitting at 62 to 62. What we didn't see on screen was Gwen diving the Ornn and not getting anything for it and giving a kill over. So that's obviously a big part of the gold swing as well. But yeah, it all comes down. A big part of that fight is that the Orianna Shockwave was on cooldown because we did see him hit Saber Ethan with it prior to that fight breaking out. I suppose Leeway used that as an identifier, as you know, he wanted to go in there based on that information, and he does do it. He knew the Orianna wasn't there, but he said without the Shockwave she can't do much, and we did see that as the Jarvan jumped in and no Shockwave followed. It was pretty easy just to auto down the Orianna there with the lethal tempo on the Nocturne. Just a nice fight to kind of try and equalize things there for QUB Quokkas.
QUB Quokkas did get a few kills back in response, and they've come back into the game there. They're not too far down. Tarek's done, not going to connect though, and it's currently Matrix up against Crimson Chaos and Saber Ethan at the moment in the bottom lane, but Mongolian Yeti is going to get spotted on a couple of wards there, so they know he's hanging around. Nocturne, meanwhile, is passing towards that top side, and I don't think TUD Daredevils know what's happening there, but they are going to pass towards this dragon that looks to be the first dragon of the game for TUD Daredevils.
Yeah, they look like they are just going to posture there, but it depends on how quickly they can do it. Obviously, they don't have their AD carry with them right now, and it does look as if the Nocturne was going to have a look, but instead decides just to go back to his red buff now that everyone has kind of reappeared on Vision. So, yeah, everything kind of stabilizing here. Mongolian Yeti going in.
A lot of damage coming through. We did see the Ezreal E away, which did stop the Tarek root from connecting, but a serious Leona ulti connects there, and down goes the two as Ben Tennyson pops his Featherstorm and takes him out.
That's only one of the maybe 25 different elements of the wombo combo here with the Leona ult and the Xayah ult, but we can't stop. There's more action.
White Raven, though, going to put that W down there so he doesn't get hit by the Ornn ulti. Leeway and the Ornn trying to get this kill back, but White Raven, a lot of healing he's doing right now. In comes the Seraphine, who might try to get something else here, and he's going to try and catch White Raven out. Really well played from Jojo Gia to guess that he was going to go over the wall there.
Yeah, it will be Jojo GA. This one's playing out a lot different to how it did last week. He's the one with the early lead now, and he will look to use it now. 2 stacks on that newly bought Dark Seal, and 3 kills going over there. He's currently up about 600 gold in that mid lane isolated. So yeah, he did a good job. It was interesting to note that the Ornn did get the knock up off the wall there. They are going to trade Herald for Dragon, so it is I would say fairly favorable for the QUB Quokkas there. They only gave up the Dragon there, and they end up getting a Rift Herald for more of that gold value to try and catch up, as well as getting a kill onto that Dark Seal on the Seraphine there of Jojo Gia.
Looking at the items at the moment, we do see Xayah is about to be 2k gold up. Ben Tennyson absolutely storming at the moment here. Has a Kraken Slayer, has the tier 2 boots completed. Meanwhile, Crimson Chaos, I don't think he even has the Triforce on his recall.
No, he does not. He is struggling in a bit of poverty. He's found himself in not going well there. I was saying one of the 25 different elements of the wombo combo before I was interrupted by more action is the Leona ulti and the Featherstorm there on the Xayah are great at combining. He knocked down the 2 of them. They were inside the Jarvan ulti, decided to hit the Leona ulti down onto 2 of them, and then Ben Tennyson pops the Featherstorm, is able to stun them up, and then just keeps auto attacking there. Not a lot left to do, and he picks up 2 more kills for his troubles. 5-1 now on this Xayah. You know, he comes into the lineup and it's looking all him.
Ben Tennyson absolutely showing off in this playoff game at the moment. He does not fear QUB, nor does he need to from the way this man is playing. He is absolutely just laying down the law here in that bottom lane. Meanwhile, though, in the top lane, not going so well for White Raven at the moment. Currently 0-2-0. He is 60 CS up nearly on the Ornn here. We do see the Nocturne Paranoia going to get popped onto the Orianna, but Orianna does get out and doesn't need to pop the Shockwave, but does need to use the Flash.
Yeah, just another cooldown expended there. They trade the Nocturne ulti for the flash of Matrix. Pretty important for the next fight, as here comes Mongolian Yeti.
Mongolian Yeti looking for the Cataclysm. It does go down on the Seraphine, but the Seraphine ulti does connect onto Orianna. Do they have the damage? Oh, Saber Ethan. Maybe he tries to take the kill. No, he does not. He's going to put his own ulti down there to try and kill Jarvan alive a bit longer. But I don't know if that was worth it instead of running onto Matrix there and taking out that Orianna.
Yeah, it's not great execution there by any means. That is the combo, you know, we talked about it all draft. There's more action in the top lane.
Meanwhile, though, White Raven getting taken super low here by Minion Hunter. His own ulti getting popped there. Doesn't get anything but the call of the Forge God. Bo's top lane are super low at the moment, but I don't think it matters. But a TP's coming into the top lane. Matrix is here. Minion Hunter might go down. Ori ulti not up yet, but here we go. A TP of their own back in response. Jojo GA gonna TP top lane as well. It's a bit of a fiesta.
Yeah, I think we're kind of seeing playoff nerves, to be honest, because I don't think that TP was at all necessary. I'm pretty sure they were already backing off because they saw Terracon Vision walking up from the river. But, you know, Jojo GA kind of feeling the pressure a little bit that he feels like this game might be on him because of his bot lane losing so hard. So he goes scrambling for kills that aren't really there, pops the TP to give Minion Hunter a bit of relief, but it was pretty unnecessary, I would say.
I don't think that second TP off Jojo GA was necessary at all, but regardless, I mean, if he died there, it would have, at least he knew he was there, but I definitely think it was kind of tough for him, to be honest, in that matchup. I also think at the moment, it's still not going so hot, really, for Minion Hunter. Minion Hunter at 1-0-1, but we do see White Raven completing his first item, and he's already, what, 60 CS up nearly on him already, still in the game. We're only 14 minutes in, and he's got a serious CS discrepancy between him and White Raven. It's not going so hot, and I definitely think once White Raven starts kind of looking more towards the split push side, as he has completed the Astro's Tooth, it's going to get even harder for Minion Hunter here, so I think he's looking to pick up some MR early.
Yeah, it is kind of in the tail of the, but actually...
The Cataclysm. We do see a lot of damage come through there. Seraphine flashing away, but it doesn't matter as Jojo GA gets taken out by Mongolian Yeti.
Yeah, these are the kind of games where I can never really talk, is it because there's always a bit of action, as we do see some more posturing in the river here, but yeah, that's just the wombo combo that we saw at play. You know, I was calling the Orianna as soon as that Jarvan was locked in because, you know, you said it is one of the most meta mid laners.
We do see, though, the Solar Flare coming out there. Mongolian Yeti taking out the Taric. So down goes Saber Ethan. Did have the Cosmic Radiance up as well. Doesn't have it up for another 8 seconds, so he's not going to be there just yet. As TUD looking to start this Baron. Dragon even. And meanwhile, White Raven fighting Minion Hunter. The Ornn ulti did not connect, though. And down goes Minion Hunter. White Raven picking himself up a kill back. And it's just as we said. As soon as these items start coming in, what can Minion Hunter do but sit under turret?
Yeah, a bit of a mechanical disaster class there from Minion Hunter. Doesn't get the second part of his ulti as White Raven is just able to eat through it. And we do see Blue Team and White Raven there picking up the first turret side, TUD Daredevils there. But yeah, you know, you set it up from the start. You were talking about the Orianna, how meta it is. And once we saw the Jarvan going over, I don't think you can really feasibly give that Orianna over. But they have.
Paranoia. Out comes the Seraphine ulti, lands on the 2 members though, really nicely played. Exhaust comes down goes Mongolian Yeti. TP coming in here from the Ornn, maybe a bit late, maybe not, as he just comes in here. Minion Hunter is in this, but down goes a member. Saber Ethan gonna go down himself, a knock-up landing onto Sprumble. Sprumble forced to flash, Solar Flare is nearly up from as well, keep an eye on that. Ori ulti gonna get used, but it doesn't cast anyone really, and the members of QUB survive.
Yeah, I think the biggest winner here is White Raven, and the fact that he was able to push another wave in. He is almost, what is that? That's 80 CS now in the top lane. Discrepancy.
Solar Flare.
Thought there was a bit of action going on there. But no, yeah, as I was saying, that White Raven's big winner there doesn't have the TP up, and you know, Minion Hunter doesn't really get anything for his troubles there. Jojo GA does pick up another kill, putting those 2 stacks back on his Darksteel. But yeah, they give the Dragon over, and it not looking great now for QUB. I will say Minion Hunter, you know, was forced almost into picking that Ornn, and he kind of needed a bot lane performance, to be honest, because he had to give over his pick in order to keep that flex alive. And this the Taric that they supplemented that with doesn't look like it's been doing too well here for Crimson Chaos and Saber Ethan on the Ezreal and the Taric.
Definitely think it's been a tough matchup there. I've seen Saber Ethan die a couple of times with the Cosmic Radiance up, and I don't think it's been used fairly well neither. Not really to him, it's more just the situation that he's in, that they're just fighting so much that he can't even get it off in time. As we do see White Raven fighting Minion Hunter, second part of the Ornn ulti going to connect, but it doesn't even matter. Down he goes, White Raven now with the Leeching Leer. Bit more damage coming out, maybe a bit too much, as we do see a serious amount of damage coming out there from that Gwen.
Yeah, this is pretty much according to the script. To be honest, this is most likely how this matchup always goes. In the fact that the early game is the hardest part for the Gwen, as we did say. He found himself in a few trades that he probably wouldn't have liked, but now that he has that Nashor's Tooth and the Leeching Leer, it becomes so easy for the Gwen to take over this game. And to be honest, when you have a Seraphine trying to play so supportive for their team with the with the more supportive aspects to it, with the shielding and the CC, and then you have an Ornn who's completely underfed and Ezreal who's completely underfed, it's going to be incredibly tough to match this Gwen on the sideline.
You see White Raven might get caught out here by Leeway in Crimson Chaos. Does have a bit of damage of his own. Solar Flare though, going to connect on the two. Really well played from Sprumble, but out comes the Paranoia from the Nocturne. He doesn't get it though, but we do see the Ezreal get over the wall. Had to flash over to take out White Raven though.
Yeah, he does expend his flash there. He might be caught now.
He's going to be the EQ from Drive and Flag and Drag going to take him out. Matrix taking the kill for himself, but did use the Shockwave there to secure it.
Yeah, Flag and Drag, Shockwave over and over and over again. If it's one thing, I think QUB might learn their lesson after this game.
Out comes the Cataclysm, but the Seraphine Encore going to connect into two members, Jarvan and Leona. Out comes the Featherstorm. No root this time for Ben Tennyson. But oh my god, TUD are on a rampage here. They're nearly 7k gold up.
Yeah, QUB have found themselves in an incredible spot of bother. Now they have the objective bounties 7k down on the gold tally. Almost a Flame Horizon coming up in the top lane for White Raven over Minion Hunter here. He's definitely not hunting very many minions. But nevertheless, TUD Daredevils, this is kind of a testament to their strategy more so than anything. I know Matrix PL and I know that he loves an Excel spreadsheet, and he will have been doing his research for this playoff game all week. And you know what? It's a testament to him that this is, in my opinion, such a draft differential, that they have an identity. They had an idea of what they wanted to do when they went into this draft. As soon as they picked up the Jarvan, they loved the Orianna, and they've supplemented it great with that Leona and the Gwen carry as well. It's just looking like a kind of a perfect draft for their team identity, and it's coming up tenfold.
It's literally copy-pasted from Worlds this year, to be honest. It's like, if it's good enough for the pros, it's good enough for Collegiate, really, if you can pile it well enough. And as we've just seen from TUD Daredevils, it looks like they can.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say Mongolian Yeti is everywhere in this game, and I can't see why the QUB lads would be fairly aggrieved to fall victim to this. But yeah, we see his pathing again now with a Baron attempt. I don't know if this is able to be contested by the side of QUB Quokkas.
They can't even stop White Raven from pushing in that top tier turret as well. You do see the Paranoia going to come out from the Nocturne to just displace TUD for a second, but he's going to go in. No, he's not. Really close with that Nocturne Q over the wall, but he doesn't get the kill. W going to come out from that Gwen there, but the Solar Flare connects. A really nice Leona ulti though, going to land on the Matrix. Doesn't have his own ulti available. Meanwhile though, they are trying to take out White Raven. They do manage to get the shutdown over. White Raven going to die, but Matrix flashing over the wall himself. And do they have the damage to take out these members of QUB? Mongolian Yeti says yes they do. Down comes the Cataclysm. A lot of damage coming out there. Matrix taking out one. Can he take out two? Yes he can. Double kill for Matrix, and he's so low, but can he escape? No, he cannot. Mongolian Yeti trying to find someone here at Minion Hunter, trying to run away with his life, but it's 2 kills over to QUB and potentially a third, and this is actually looking a bit better for QUB right now, as Sprumble forcing that W. Really nice timing on that to keep him alive. It's going to explode to do a bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Ezreal getting the shutdown onto Sprumble there, and QUB might just be back in the game off that a wee bit.
Yeah, Ben Tennyson, if he's not a shy kind of guy, I know that he's absolutely screaming at his team there, because he's the one who has to go and pick up this dragon. He's the one who knew to recall as soon as they got that Baron, because that fight was not worth it. If White Raven goes, you let him go, it's a Baron for one. And yeah, it would have been perfect, but instead they give over 3 kills there in that fight over to QUB. If you're ever going to give a team, a bit of a shining light and not smother them out, the best way to do it is by giving up your shutdowns and giving away your Baron buffs immediately after getting them. So yeah, just a pretty nice fight there for QUB coming off the back of losing that Baron. It's still a pretty advantageous play for TUD and how they want to play this map, because they still have their AD carry with the Baron, so they will be able to have constant middle lane priority for when these objectives do start spawning. So yeah, and also the fact that I don't think QUB are really able to match this Gwen in the side leaves for a pretty disastrous macro state for QUB, but it'll be interesting to see how they play it now. They might have a bit more confidence after getting 3 kills in that fight.
I think QUB definitely don't count them out just yet. We did see them kind of get demolished a bit early on there, but they are kind of coming back into it a bit. Their team does scale okay, and they do have ornaments, and we do see right now Minion Hunter, level 13 at the moment. As soon as he hits 14, he gets his first ornament, but out comes the Shockwave. He might not hit 14. He does get taken out by Matrix there, 6 and 2 on this Orianna, and all the other members are in the top lane. No one can match TUD right now. I know they don't have a minion wave, but what are they going to do?
Yeah, I don't think the unspoken parasite that he received off hitting level 13 can really save him there. The upgrade to the Jack show, yeah, just gets one shot. We can see how accelerated that side really is off the amount of damage that she was able to put out there in that fight. Also, Matrix very much holding his own. You know, Joji we were saying would probably be the shining light of QUB Quokkas, but Matrix showing that he is the premier mid laner in this game, and this Jarvan and Orianna is working to absolute perfection.
Nocturne does have the Paranoia available if he does want to use it, but it doesn't look like they're going to win here, as White Raven is also in the top lane. They're pushing in 2 lanes, and I was talking about this earlier on, Squabble. Here's the 4-1 from TUD with that top laner out there, but in comes the Paranoia. Do they have enough damage? Second part of the Ornn ulti going to come out there onto Leona, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not. Leeway going to barely escape with his life there. A bit of damage coming out. The Seraphine ulti going to get used, and it's not going to catch anyone, it looks like, but they do get one in response. Mongolian Yeti is still alive, and he's been holding off QUB 1v4 by himself, it looks like, and White Raven, meanwhile, is in this top lane taking the inhibitor. What are QUB going to do here right now? They're also low, but QUB do not have the damage to take them out from the looks of things.
Yeah, Joji trying so desperately to get this Landry. Gets hit by the Shockwave.
Shockwave comes out there and they take out the Seraphine, and they might get the Leona for it, but that's your mid laner dead. QUB now on the defensive. 1 inhibitor down, 2 inhibitors down right now. They're looking at a third. Meanwhile, Ezreal trying to get Ben Tennyson, but Ben Tennyson takes them out.
No, oh, it's so sad when you see that Q go wide. He got the shield. The last bit of Matrix mana is used to put the ball onto Ben Tennis and give them that shield, and that is all he really needed there to take out that Ezreal. Crimson Chaos thought that he had an easy 2 kills on the horizon. Instead, he gets sent back to the fountain.
That was so unfortunate. I definitely think Crimson Chaos played that better than he really had any right to with the item discrepancy, but yeah, it was just really unfortunate there, and Ben Tennyson getting away with his life, and that was again just showing how strong TUD are at the moment. There really isn't much that they can do at the moment. I just think QUB are really on the back foot here. They're currently 12k, nearly 13,000 gold down at the moment at 25 minutes, which is not really where you want your team to be, especially now that they're 3 dragons down, they're a Baron down, and with the Dragon Soul and the Baron spawning in 1 minute, I think TUD think that will be theirs. But maybe the game doesn't even go that long, because you do see White Raven just poking at QUB on his own right there. They're just trying to push it in, trying to get this last inhibitor. Here comes the wave. QUB trying to get rid of it. Can they stop the wave from pushing in? They're pushing this turret in. Out comes the Ornn ulti. Is something going to happen here? Knocks up 2 members. Knocks up Matrix. But it doesn't matter, because down goes Minion Hunter. But no, he doesn't. He does do a bit in response with the flash out of Matrix there to keep him alive. Shockwave going to be used. A lot of damage coming out there. A lot of damage from Gwen. White Raven taking it too. Down goes over to the Xayah. White Raven joined the fight. 4v1. No thanks. 5v5. I'll take those odds, as White Raven finally joined his team and says, feck it, we'll end the game right here. TUD going to take game 1, and what a performance from all members of TUD.
Yeah, they really put their stamp on the series right away, didn't they? White Raven taking full advantage of this counter pick here on the Gwen B4 after that Ornn pick. Just a really, really nice adaptation of their draft, which was already such a well illustrated draft with the combo of the Orianna and the Jarvan there. I just don't think you can give it up in a meta like this. But nevertheless, it is half about execution as well. And I do think that Matrix and Mongolian Yeti played this game pretty nicely, as well as Ben Tennyson and Sprumble kind of taking it to Crimson Chaos. You know, it was a pretty perfect game from TUD, and it's really hard to say anything to the contrary. It's kind of hard to find any shining light for QUB. I will say that Jojo GA tried to step up in the mid game. You know, he was looking, he was fishing, and then when he got caught by that shockwave there at the end, and then Crimson Chaos tries to go in and clean it up, and also gets killed, it's kind of hard for a team mentally to come back from something like that. But I do think the game was also kind of gone at that stage. But nevertheless, a huge win and a huge statement win for TUD.
I definitely think TUD just played really well. I think one of the people who would not be, he didn't have all the kills for this game. He's not Ben Tennyson. I definitely think Sprumble just played a really clean performance there. He had some insane Leona ultis in that. There's the really nice 2-man Leona ult in that Jarvan ulti as well was pretty sick. I also think throughout like the starts of these fights, he started off a lot of them with the shockwaves, and I think he just played a really good performance there. He knew when to go in, and even when he went overextended and went far, he had the remaining members of TD there to cover him, and he also kind of managed to turn it into a lot of kills as well. And I just think overall, just a really well played game from TD Daredevils there. But QUB, they're not out of it just yet. It's only game 1. This is the playoffs. This is the spice. QUB could still come back into this and take this to a game 3. They just maybe need 1 or 2 adaptations in their comp and their kind of what they want to ban and pick. But honestly, there is a bit of potential there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what QUB can do next game. But we're going to throw it to a quick break there, lads. But we'll be back with game 2 in a moment, lads. Just don't go anywhere.